Part 1. Do you like reading books?
Yes, I enjoy reading books in my pastime. For me, books are fascinating because they are a great source of knowledge, and through them I can gain both information and entertainment. Sometimes I even discover new perspectives or insights that change the way I think. I usually love to read in the evening after a busy day at work because it helps me relax and disconnect from screens and smartphones. Reading also calms me before bed, so I sleep better in a quiet environment and often wake up the next morning with a fresh idea or understanding that I pick up from the book.
Do you buy new book often?
I rarely buy new books because most of the time I just borrow them from the library. If I do purchase a new book, it's usually once every 3 months or so, and typically it's a title that isn't available at the library, but that I really need to read. These books are related to my work, so they aren't the kind of books most people would buy for leisure. Another reason I don't buy books too often is the cost. For instance, a single book can cost around $20, which feels quite expensive for me since I live in a rural area and my income doesn't leave much room for extra expenses.
What kind of books did you enjoy as a child?
I loved reading so many books when I was a child. There was a wide variety: science books, storybooks for children, alphabet books, and even handcrafting guides. I think it was my curiosity as a child that inspired me to explore so many different topics through books. If I had to choose one favorite, it would be science. I really love science because I could try out what I read with my brother, sister, or sometimes my parents. Not only did I read books, but I also carried out practical experiments. I remember once we made a rainbow using a water spray on a plant. It was a huge success and it felt amazing as a child.
Do you recommend books to others?
Yes, I sometimes recommend books to others. At first, I didn't really understand the idea because I realized that different people enjoy different kinds of books or prefer different topics. But when I started college, I met a friend who loved to read books also, and he recommended a book to me. I didn't pay much attention about the book, but when I read it, oh, this is what I was wondering for a long time, and I don't have any reference, and I'm glad that he recommended it to me. Nowadays, if someone asks me which books I would recommend, or simply as an icebreaker, I usually suggest books by Ahmad Tohari, any titles, because his writing, delivery, and topics are simple yet incredibly well structured and touching.
Do you think reading habits are changing nowadays?
Yes, I believe reading habits are definitely changing nowadays. In my opinion, this is largely due to advancement in technology and shift in people's lifestyles. In the past, people enjoy reading newspaper, physical books, and anything they could hold in their hands. But we have ebooks now, and more recently, audiobooks. I'm not entirely sure if audiobooks count as reading, but they do allow people to access content by listening rather than reading. Another reason reading habits have evolved is related to daily life and work routines. In the past, many people worked on farms and had more free time in the evenings, which allowed them to read more. Today, people often work longer hours, even into the evening or late at night, leaving less time for reading. And I think there's two factors: technology and lifestyle changes are the main reasons why reading habits are shifting.
Part 2. Describe a book you have recently read and enjoy. You should say what the book was about, why you decided to read it, what you learned from it, and explain why you enjoy it.
Well, one of the books I recently read and really enjoyed is Senyum Karyamin. It's a short story collection by Ahmad Tohari, who is a very famous Indonesian writer. The stories mainly talk about ordinary villagers, their daily struggles, and how they manage to stay strong and even kind in the middle of hardship. I decided to read this book because I had already enjoyed one of Tohari's well-known novels, Kisar Merah. So I was kind of curious to see how he would portray everyday life in a shorter form. And actually, a friend of mine also recommended it, saying that although the stories are really simple, they carry quite deep messages. What I really like about the book is how authentic it feels. For example, in the title story, Karyamin keeps smiling even though he is going through so many personal difficulties. That really struck me, to be honest, because it shows that optimism doesn't always come from money or success, but rather from inner strength. I also admire Tohari's writing style. His language is simple but very expressive, and the way he describes rural Indonesia is so vivid that I almost felt like I was living in the village myself. The story also the stories also made me reflect on my own life and reminded me to appreciate the small things that I sometimes take for granted. So overall, I'd say Senyum Karyamin is not just a short story collection, but also a collection of life lessons. It really left a deep impression on me, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who enjoys meaningful, down-to-earth literature.
Part 3. Do you think people read less nowadays than in the past?
Yeah, I say so. These days, people spend more time scrolling on their phones or watching short videos instead of reading books. In the past, reading was one of the main ways to get both information and entertainment. Now, people just prefer quicker content because it fits their busy lifestyle.
What kinds of books are popular in your country?
Well, it really depends on the age group, but novels and self-help books are quite popular. Young people often go for romance or drama novels, while professionals prefer business or motivational books. Recently, religious and cultural books are also widely read because they connect with people's values.
Do you think children should be encouraged to read more?
Oh, absolutely. Reading helps kids develop imagination, creativity, and better language skills. These days, many children spend hours on gadgets, so encouraging them to read is a good balance. Of course, it's important to give them books that are fun and engaging, not just textbooks.